Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern that was tricked into being here tonight with Rice Krispie treats, codename Legion Cub.
Did you brown the butter?
So delicious.
They're so hard to make.
Okay, here's a question. Have you ever had Rice Krispie treats that were not good, like weren't made right? I can't say that I have. Really?
I mean, I've had ones that were like prepackaged that weren't very good.
Oh well, yeah. I'm not counting those.
Like
I'm counting
homemade
ones made.
Homemade ones are
homemade. No, they're always good. But I have had theme park Rice Krispie treats that were cooked a little too long, and
well, theme parks can figure out a way to mess anything up.
Yeah.
You are watching us live on the Needless Things YouTube channel, where you can find us generally alternating Mondays, but now we are here 3 Mondays in a row. We will be back next Monday, which we were already planning to do a live stream just because it's our regular schedule there. But now we know there's going to be another JUN Hasbro Pulse live stream on Wednesday. Which is great news because it means we won't have worn out all the news for the month when we do our live stream next week. Follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. Click that follow button, and on Instagram. My notes got messed up here. We're on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast, and we're also on Blue Sky. While you're at Instagram, check the pinned stories and get yourself some Audible Interlude merchandise. We, of course, have t-shirts that are available in many, many different colors, sizes, and designs. And they have been selling in the lead up to Joe Fest. I am very excited because we've seen a surge in shirt sales. I encourage you to look at the other stuff as well, because we have just added hats to the mix. Yes, now you can get, so you can't get the red, white, and blue model that I typically wear, but there are several different colors of hats. You can get any of these things on them. Even the tactical shovel you can get on a hat, and it looks okay. I was shocked. I thought like it would just be, it lengthwise, it wouldn't look very good. It looks pretty good. So lots of colors available. Check out our merch. It's TeePublic. The links are at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Our upcoming schedule, as I said, next Monday, we will be live streaming once again, talking about whatever they reveal at this Wednesday's Pulse live stream. Next Wednesday, as a regular Needless Things podcast, although a live stream, our pal Word Burglar is coming back to talk about his new Kickstarter project. He has written a comic book and has an all-star lineup of talent that'll be contributing to that comic book. So next Wednesday, 8 p.m. right here, come stop by and hang out with Word Burglar. We have 2 things going on at Joe Fest in Augusta, Georgia, at the Marriott Convention Center, 5 p.m. on Friday, June the 20th. We will be screening Troublemaker, my documentary about all of the stuff that I do, just trying to get my hands on microphones and talk in front of people. My friend Jason Wilson, an Emmy award-winning director, followed me around for about a year and a half and recorded all of the crazy stuff that I do. And we'll be showing that film, which is under an hour. I put that across as a selling point, under an hour, but it's a lot of fun. Everywhere we've shown it, it has gotten very, very good reception. It is a feel-good film. Later that night, we will be having the annual Audible Interlude Friday Night Funhouse. Location TBD. It will be somewhere on the grounds of Joe Fest, so you're not going to have to like travel to a bar or anything. But if you are in the Audible Interlude Facebook group, you'll get the first heads up as to where the location is. If you would like to join the Audible Interlude Facebook group, what just happened? Oh, hang on.
What?
It's fighting me.
Uh-oh.
There's one more step involved when you're on a desktop. If you would like to join the Audible Interlude Facebook group, I just put the link in the chat. So check it out. Jump on in. We're having a lot of fun there so far. It's been around for about a week. And you could also have an opportunity to get an early look. Scale Model Joe's, who I believe is here in the chat, is blowing my mind by putting together an Audible Interlude wiki page that has the contents of every episode. It will eventually include every Cobra intern intro ever uttered. Lots of references that people are going to be seeing for the first time. Our pal Brett White of Pop Heist just learned where the sign-off comes from. So all kinds of fun stuff that you can learn from there. I'm even going back and seeing things like, oh, we talked about that, or we talked about that way, or oh my gosh, this was 5 years ago. So it's been a lot of fun. If you are in the Facebook group, you'll get early access to take a look at that wiki as it develops, because we will not be fully launching it to the public until it's complete.
I just want to Silent Interlude popped in with I just want a tactical shovel because I'm sick of digging with my hands. Get a dog?
Tactical hands. Look, I want to make the shovels happen. It has not been given up on. It's just
remember to bring it to Joe Fest, and I will bring it back with me.
Oh yeah,
to the guy that I have. Like, we'll do a trade-off. I will remember to bring all of your gridiron stuff from the last 2 years, and we'll do a trade-off.
Okay, that sounds fair. Yeah, as soon as we're done, somebody remind me when we sign off because it's right over there, and I've already got my pile of Joe Fest stuff over here. Somebody remind me right before we sign off. I'm talking to you, chat, to put the prototype tactical shovel in my Joe Fest pile, which now includes so much stuff that I really hope I get to do more traveling to conventions soon, or else I will have wasted a lot of money. Secret panel Friday night at Joe Fest, and then the kickoff panel Saturday morning, 10 a.m. at Joe Fest. And as I mentioned last week, unfortunately, we were not able to stay. I say we as in my son and I were not able to stay at the Marriott this year. I guess I waited too long, which I feel like I looked earlier than I normally do. So that's just how big Joe Fest is. So we're not staying on site this year. So the Saturday morning walk isn't going to be happening. Yeah. Thanks, Rex Ship. Wiseacre.
For our listeners, he is already reminding Dave to put the shovel in the pile.
That's what I do, or actually my son and I both do to my wife. She'll say, oh, remind me to do whatever later, and then we'll wait like 30 seconds and say, don't forget to, because it's real funny every time.
Oh, very.
All right. Well, that's it for follow-up. The wiki is the thing I was most excited about because it really... there's this weird like validation of, oh my gosh, like, look at what we've done. Like, I felt like the Blues Clues guy when he released that thing during the pandemic where he's like, look at what you've done. I felt like he was talking to me as I was cruising through the wiki. But I mean, it really is like, I'm very proud of what we've done here. And the three of us, it is something special. And of course, the Audible Army, you guys are what it's all about. The fact that we've built this community that continues to grow is amazing. And we will see so many of you live and in person next weekend. Whew.
Yeah.
And please do remember, I have a form of mild face blindness. And also, I do not see your face every week.
Yeah, reintroductions
with
throughout
that
the whole weekend.
With
but
that,
I also
treat me like you're forgetful. No, like your grandmother's forgetful boyfriend. Treat me like that. All right, what were you saying, Kristian?
Well, I was going to say, for those of you who have your Cobra intern shirts, Saturday is going to be the big day. So make sure you wear them and come by the booth. I have got some special giveaways for the interns. And if you are not able to make it on Saturday, but you are coming Friday for the sneak peek somehow, stop by the booth as well. If I see you in the Cobra intern shirt, you'll get a giveaway.
And we are, unless things change between now and then, which is always possible. Nothing is ever set in stone until it has already happened. But right now, our table is directly across from registration. So we're going to be jumping on everybody. We're going to be that annoying writer that's in the hallway at every small scale science fiction fantasy convention that's saying, "What kind of books do you like?" We're going to be that. What kind of podcast do you like? Which, I mean, it's a little easier to narrow down at a G.I. Joe convention. Okay, well, I think that's all the follow-up we had. And as the scrolling banner suggests, anything that comes in via Super Chat or any other means all goes into production of the show. It all goes into the travel, the stuff that we have to put together for presentations. It all, because let me just tell you, the podcast / YouTube money is not covering expenses. I know it's big bucks.
That lucrative podcast income.
Yeah, we're not bathing in golden tubs. All right, so I think it's time for some news. So the first piece of news was pretty exciting. Well, it would be more exciting if Hasbro Pulse wasn't a dumpster fire of notifications. The only way I know when I've been charged for something is I get a notification from Pay, because I have completely changed over to using PayPal for all of my Pulse transactions, because it's the only way to get in and out quickly and not have to re-enter your phone number 3 times or do some other nonsense. Although they have added a new type of CAPTCHA. Did you guys get this? Did you order anything last week?
Yes.
I did.
Did you get the new CAPTCHA where you have to hold the button down?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was weird.
Well, I prefer that, though, to look at these tiles and try to decide if they're including stairs in this tiny little corner or not. I hate those. So I'll take the button all day long. Although I did get it twice. So Saturday, and oh no, wait, we'll talk about that. So anyway, I got a notification from PayPal that Pulse charged me $37.09, but what PayPal does not do is tell you what it is. So if you have a lot of Pulse pre-orders, you have to kind of go look. But it turns out it is heavy duty is the only thing I had pre-ordered that was that price. And I can no longer cancel the order. So it looks like that's it. And hopefully it'll be shipping sometime in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Whoa, it's Brett White chiming in with, also got an alert this morning that my Frag Viper was canceled.
From Pulse?
So I went and saw it wasn't sold out. So I pre-ordered it again. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Did you get that from Pulse? Because I got that. I was going to save this, but that happened with my MMS. And I thought maybe it was a glitch. And I went back and they were sold out. So I went on Big Bad, pre-ordered my MMS. But then the next day, I was back on Pulse. And all that stuff from Yojo June pre-orders was no longer sold out. So I was able to add it back. I'm like, oh, Hasbro.
Yeah, I was confused because I didn't get to watch the live stream. And I saw somebody mention that the pre-orders are going live at noon for Pulse Premium members. And they were going on 1 for the general public. So I got on at like 12:45. I was like, oh, I'm probably too late. And it wasn't there yet. And they went live at 1 for Pulse Premium.
Yeah, there was some confusion there. And to be honest, I don't remember what they said on the live stream, but they did make a correction on Instagram at one point, which, Noel, I understand you're too fancy for. But they did make a correction.
I just was working, and I didn't get a chance to look at anything beyond whatever somebody had posted, I think, in our chat.
They did make a correction on Instagram that it was premium at 1 and general public at 2. But I will say this, too. rarely is stuff selling out within the first few hours anymore.
Right. That's what I thought was so weird when I went back, and it was the MMS, and I think that was maybe it. Maybe Slice and Dice. I can't remember. But the next day I went back on there anyway because I was looking up a certain Star Wars Black figure to see if it had been released. And all of a sudden, nothing on the Joe page was sold out anymore. So I re-added it. And
yeah, whatever they did with their update was just nonsense and no good at all. And they don't seem to be interested in fixing it. You may or may not get a shipping notification. It may or may not be FedEx or DHL. It may it's just a mess. But moving on to things that are not from Hasbro. Kristian, you brought this up right before we went on the air, and I am happy to be talking about it. From the Chosen Prime, this is the VE01A Air Tiger. Now, I'm sure most of you remember the original Air Eagle, I think is what it was called. That was essentially a 1/12 scale Skyhawk. The Chosen Prime and Fans Hobby are proud to announce the release of the VE01A Air Tiger. This exclusive figure marks a new addition to the VE series and is presented as a limited edition collectible for discerning fans and collectors. This sounds very written by AI to me. Although I think in many instances I'm seeing AI where there might not be any, just because now I'm so tensed up.
I think human writers are training themselves now on AI, so humans are starting to sound more like AI.
Yeah, you might be right.
I just always figured discerning means add an extra $100 to what you're looking at.
VE01A Air Tiger features a sleek design inspired by a specialized squadron of air attack vehicles and is limited to only 400 individually serialized units worldwide. Availability. VE01A Air Tiger will debut exclusively at the Chosen Prime booth during Joe Fest Toy and Comic Show 2025. The figure, they keep calling it a figure, which is another AI red flag. Will be available for purchase at the event for $119.99 US. A limited quantity will be released online through the Chosen Prime website the following week. The official online release date will be announced soon. We look forward to seeing everyone at Joe Fest. Stay tuned for more information on what else we will be bringing with us. Remember, knowing is half the battle. At least they got that right. So I think this looks so much more interesting. Now, I still think it looks like it's just a sized up Skyhawk. It does not look like a classified Skyhawk to me, but I love that Tiger Force deco. What do you guys think of this thing?
I think it looks better than the other sized up Fans Hobby stuff, because weren't they the ones that were working on that thing that just looked like a triangle?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was a very early design, but yeah, that did not look good. I mean, look, people loved the Air Eagle. I would say those people are less discerning, but nope.
Silent Interlude jumping in with, I know they had to change the wings because of copyright or whatever, but I liked it way better when it was Skyhawkier. Which I guess, is that because of the angled?
Well, no, the wings are super high. On the original model, those engines are above the wings.
Right.
I wish I could pull one of mine down without
too
much
mine's
hassle,
on the other
but that's
side
not
of the
going to happen.
room. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is a different design, and I, because of the deco, this one looks better to me, but those landing skids still just look so chunky. And thick. I don't need it, but I think it's cool that they're doing it. Good for them.
And you know what? That's a fairly reasonable price for something.
I agree with that.
That's a run like this.
$400. I mean, that's nothing. That's a very, very low run, and to have that deco on it, to be a run of 400, to have that deco and be $120, I think is pretty wild.
Yeah, I can see it selling out.
Yeah, I think so. Especially the fact that people are going to be able to like go and pick it up, because that's from what I took is they're going to have it, or how I read it, they're going to have them on hand. So you're going to be able to see it. I imagine they'll have one in like a case or something. You'll be like, ooh, look at that. That's cool. And then they can put it in your hand and you buy it. And that's where Ramen Toys kind of loses me, because they never have anything for sale at Joe Fest. I guarantee you I would have bought something from them by now, because they've been at several things we've been to, but they never have product to sell, which I get it. It's expensive to ship it there and they probably don't want to deal with it. But I would have bought things if they had it there for sale.
Yeah, there's definitely an impulse buy tendency that's happening there that is not the same as like, I like this, I'll go online and order this now.
Yeah.
Right. And pay the shipping and wait. And that, well, I can't remember which job, because I worked retail for 10 years before I moved into where I am now. And I can't remember where I learned it, but somebody told me, put it in their hands. You want to physically place, if somebody's looking at something, pick it up and physically place it in their hands, because that, believe it or not, makes a psychological difference in their buying decision. And this is the same principle.
I'm not saying that Ramen Toys is known for QC issues. Wink, wink. But that has definitely been my thing with them, because the stuff in their booth, like, you know, their models or whatever, I'm like, oh, that looks really great, but I've seen what people have said, so I definitely want to get it in my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and beyond that, the fact that, and look, I think they're doing really cool stuff. We are both very excited about their upcoming Space Ninjas, Dr. Space Ninjas. What the heck? Gatchaman.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember
line. Sorry.
But very excited to see that for sure. But if you notice, many times following a product release, they have to post lots of stuff on social media explaining why something didn't work right, or don't do this, or you'll break it, or this doesn't scale. Like, that's a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
But again, I still, anybody that's out there independently making things, especially things this complex, good for them. And I hope everybody keeps getting better at it.
Absolutely.
Oh, speaking of these terms, so we have talked a lot about Gridiron Studios, and we'll continue to. And some of the feedback we got after last week talking about their phalanx, somebody contacted me and said that Gridiron had specifically told them that their products are display pieces and are not toys, and are not meant to be.
I think we mentioned this last week too, when we talked about.
Did we?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it in like our sense. I don't know that we had anything.
Yeah, I don't think we had that feedback yet, because that came in after the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the very specific, because this came in from TikTok. And that says a lot to me, and absolutely influences my willingness to buy, because I think what they do is beautiful, but I collect toys.
It's like when you're like, oh, we don't sell comics, we sell graphic novels.
Look, it's worth, Kristian, if you want to pop up Mini Pete here, this is interesting, because it's somebody who has actually. So Mini Pete, elaborate a little bit if you don't mind, because I would love to hear about sturdiness, durability, scaling. If you want, and I'm not asking for paragraphs, but just and really, I guess to say, Mini Pete is saying everything I've gotten from Ramen has been great,
and that thrills me, because I know, like, Dave and I love Super 7. And I have been very fortunate to not ever have the QC issues that I see other people talk about online.
Right.
So I'm not saying like, oh, this is limited to only ramen toys. It's just I've not gotten a piece from them yet. So yeah.
So yeah, that will be at Joe Fest. Another big announcement, Cold Slither will be performing at San Diego Comic-Con. We talked about the reveal of the band members last week, but it has been announced there will be a one-time only show, which says to me, well, no, they will not be touring. But if Hasbro's smart, they'll get plenty of video footage of that live concert and put it up all over socials. And Cold Slither, as we know, will initially be available at San Diego Comic-Con, will be online later on. So that's the set of figures, obviously.
And the album, right? The album releases.
The album's available for pre-order right now.
Isn't there? No, didn't they say during Joe Fest, like there's a pressed LP because it comes in 2 different colors that.
Well, you can pre-order. Are you talking about somebody will have it on hand at Joe Fest?
Or not Joe Fest, sorry, at San Diego.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Chat, correct me.
Well, there are at least 3 different colorways of the record coming out. 2 are available right now from Reigning Phoenix's website, and they've got bundles that include a T-shirt or a CD or whatever. And a SKU was also found for a Hasbro Pulse exclusive version, which I would imagine will probably be released alongside the figures and probably available at San Diego Comic-Con. But yeah, you can pre-order it right now.
Sean Forrester jumped into the chat with, I just ordered Ramen Toys Tank. Hopefully it turns out well. So keep us informed, because which did you get it as just the tank? Did you get the bridge layer?
Oh yeah. What all did you
accessory?
Or
because that is such a DIY piece. So I'm really curious, because they had that at their booth last year. They did have a physical copy you could look at, and it's big.
Throw up Zoran the Barbarian. Zoran the Barbarian says, you are wrong indeed. Who is wrong about what, Zoran?
I'm guessing he's referring to Kristian's comment about correcting me, but he just told him he was wrong. Didn't actually give him the correction.
Totally accept that. I am wrong. I mean, about everything. My existence is wrong.
All right. Oh, stop.
But Mark Harkness, if Hasbro were really smart, they'd have a band representing that other franchise and have a Cold Slither / Gym battle.
Yeah.
In case you all did not see the press releases, Hasbro finally has had a kumbaya with the rights holders for the music, because they were not. And they are doing a Gem LP with
that's
songs.
right.
I think Britta Phillips, the original singing voice, is going back and she's doing 3 updated versions of the tracks. But this is really huge, because we didn't think we would ever see this.
When are we getting a Misfits album? That's what I want to know, because as we all know, their songs are better.
Well, it'll never happen because Danzig will sue them. Let's get Mini Pete's follow-ups back on here, because look, this is important to me, because I do not own anything from Gridiron Studios or Ramen Toys, so I don't feel it's fair for me to criticize. I can only go by what I've seen online, and that's often the loudest and most vocal minority.
So Mini Pete says, I only have minor complaints with a couple of pieces. The A-Team van feels a little light for my preference. Interesting. And then I know he also had put up here, let me find it. I'm not taking them out in the yard and playing with them, but they work for posing on shelves or making scenes.
Oh, and go ahead and throw Travis Fireborn's comment up there as well. Just throw that out to the group. Although, Travis, I would recommend you join the Audible Interlude Facebook group, because this is exactly the kind of thing that we can facilitate over there.
Yep. So I'm going to summarize this, because I've actually seen a couple people in the chat early on talking about wishing they lived closer to Joe Fest. But there are people going to Joe Fest, reach out, make friends, and PayPal people some money that can pick you up stuff.
Yeah, because you can buy, I can pay for those that are going to Joe Fest. I really want the Operation Monster Force Phantom Brigade soldier. And then they're also going to have the color variant of the eraser. So I believe you can buy one a day. So if you find a friendly person and strike up a little buddy system in the Audible Interlude Facebook group, you guys can make that happen.
And I can almost guarantee you that their stuff will sell out. I mean, Monster Force stuff has been out of stock on Big Bad for a while now.
All right, we got to move on. Keep them coming in. And that link is, if you do want to join that Facebook group, the link is up there in the chat and is good for the first 20 people that join, or the next hour or something. There's some kind of time limit on it. I don't know what it is. All right, moving on to the Hasbro Pulse live stream. Ooh, exciting. The first up, name only reveals the Steel Core Sentry with Defense Post. This is basically what I expect it to look like. So for the listeners, what I have done is I popped a Steel Core head onto the Trench Viper and slapped some G.I. Joe logos on it. This is just me being a jackass. I would be willing, if I had to put money on it, obviously it's going to be a different variation of the Steel Core Trooper, and that's fine. I bet the Defense Post will be completely different from this Cobra one. I feel that what Hasbro has shown us is that while, yes, they do reuse backpacks and weapons and stuff between Joes and Cobras, I have faith that the Defense Post will be something different. Now, I might be wrong, but this was just a little something funny I wanted to throw up there because we didn't have any kind of image for what this might be.
I was just sad it wasn't a Coastal Defender, because that's what we really want.
Well, my first thought was, is this going to be like a Checkpoint Alpha?
Oh.
That was the first thing I thought, but they would call it Checkpoint Alpha.
Yeah, I think
it was going to be that.
They know that people are really going to want that. So
right.
I would love a Checkpoint Alpha in classified scale. I can't imagine how tall that thing would be.
Right, it would be huge.
Antenna and everything and flag.
It would be so expensive for what it is. Like when you think about that or the Watchtower, like either of those are going to be just for a thing that's going to be too big to put on most of your shelves, going to be $100 or so. I just we've talked about it before. I just don't think they're practical, but we'll see, maybe. Next up, name only reveal, Desert Scorpion and Scorpion Pet. Lenny very clearly said with Pet Scorpion.
Which means that I think, is Sci-Fi the only one left from the original?
Tom Henry is in the chat, in the super chat. And he asks, Fang announcement on the 11th? We can only dream, Tom Henry. We can only dream.
So, yeah, I think that this makes Sci-Fi the last remaining character that was on that initial website back in 2020 that we haven't gotten an announcement for yet.
Oh, you're right, aren't you?
And will this be the Sand Viper G1 version that you have up here, or will this be a mix of this Sand Viper with the Valor versus Venom spy troops on Sand Viper with the comically oversized claws that go over his arms, and the robot.
Let me just tell you what I think of this. This is just the image that I found, and I think this is the original, right?
It is.
Yeah, the original Desert Scorpion.
So it's a guy in a mustard colored tunic and boots that are ribbed, and I'll leave it at that. This is boring. I have zero interest in this, but Kristian, I know you're on board with me when I say this is the Desert Scorpion I want to see.
Yeah, and that's what they teased.
I want a man. Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure that was the version that they used the artwork for. Or
I thought it was the same one from.
I thought it was the original
from the website. But whatever the case, I want a man dressed up like a scorpion. Only if you'll notice, his scorpion claws look like little Mecha Godzilla heads.
Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like Beast Wars Megatron, who had a dinosaur head for a hand.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what I want in classified. Give me this all day long. And then we get some render reveals, one of which was somewhat confusingly the Awe Striker again. Mm-hmm. But I appreciated it because if you remember when we talked about that, they showed the render reveal of the Awe Striker. That was in February. I think it was back in February. And what I said about it was, well, I need to hear Lenny talk about it because it wasn't. I don't think it was in a proper live stream. They just put it out there or something.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, a lot of these things need that voice saying, this is why we did this. Here's why this looks this way. Oh, this works like this. And that's part of why I love these live streams so much. And hearing Lenny talk about it, I appreciated. I like it more than I did at first, but I still don't like the tiny front wheels.
I need to see. I feel like these renders are still not doing it justice because
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm going to need to see it.
And that fits in with Steve Martin's. Yes, folks, Steve Martin has joined our chat.
He's a wild and crazy guy.
Classified does a phenomenal job at making less than desirable figures look amazing. 100%.
Oh, Steve Martin. I thought it was Stevie Martin from the current season of Taskmaster. That's my bad. I thought we had.
I think once we are away from the render and we see the actual
in
model,
person, and
then
those
it's gonna
shots in the like the diorama stuff, and I mean, look, I think I said from the start, I'm gonna get it. It's not like 100%. I'm not gonna get it.
I'm still gonna ditch the third chair. There's still something about it.
I say that, but I have a feeling once we see it in the round, it's going to add a dimensionality to it that's going to be really appealing in person. We'll see.
Makes more sense for the gunner.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and that was the other big problem I had is I still don't like the turret on this thing because the old one was a fairly large piece.
Yeah.
And this is just that Serpentor roadblock gun again. And it just doesn't look big enough. It looks teeny tiny. But as we often say, Mark II designs or one per case or somebody, Gridiron, is going to make a replacement piece that looks as good as or better than the original. Not that I want to spend that money, but it's going to happen. All right, next up, a cop. Unsurprisingly, they're doing a cop. Looks good. If you need a cop, buy a cop.
I was amused by the coffee cup. That's
that. Well, and of course, if you remember, look, they are different coffee cups. Wow.
That cop can afford to go to Starbucks.
Yeah, that's right. Sarge and Minnie Mercer. How do we feel?
I don't need another Sarge. That was my first thought.
I do. I need 10 more Sergeant Slaughters.
Well, then you can have
as
ours.
they want to make. Oh, you know what? Actually, I will take one of yours because I can put the Joe Fest exclusive Cobra.
That's right.
On this one, because I shocking nobody, I still have not painted all that up yet. Although coming in October, I'm going to have plenty of time on my hands. So
I do wonder, like, how, because, you know, you have that red beret and everything. Like, how close are we getting to, like, infringing on WWE copyrights at this point?
Not any closer than they're comfortable doing. But this really isn't close to that look. Yeah, the beret.
He's wearing the full, like, I mean, he was wearing a full
right
like, dress shirt.
Yeah, this really people are calling it that, but it really doesn't look. Actually, you know what? Hang on, you guys.
Okay, well, while he's doing that, Tom Henry, is Mercer in some sort of Freaky Friday situation? He should be bigger. That, yes, and I'm not even talking Skybound big, but
he's portrayed big in Sunbow, and we see him like all of the rawhides.
I mean, this looks
big
like
dudes.
Teenager Mercer,
or Renegades,
and so I don't know if it wouldn't be as noticeable if he was not in a 2-pack with Slaughter, because Slaughter is on a bigger buck. But then again, they had to have known. So I feel like there's some sort of plan in the works, because
I mean, it's also like they did that with Leatherneck too, where the Leatherneck uses like a standard, actually like a smaller than usual buck. And I was very disappointed in that, just because like Leatherneck to me was always a bigger character too. And yeah, Mercer should be like, he should be close to the same height as Sarge.
I don't know. I personally only feel that Mercer should be big because of the Skybound comics. I don't know that I would think anything of him being regular sized if not for that. Like, let's imagine Tom Hardy playing Mercer. Is that fine? I think it's fine.
Yeah, but Tom Hardy can be big, even if he is tall. Oh, I don't know. Watch Bronson.
Well, right, but there's a difference between jacked and. So we're saying Mercer should be more buff.
That's even if he's not tall.
Tom Hardy is 5'9".
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, he, even if he isn't like Sergeant Slaughter big, it's sort of like Ram Man in Classics, right? Ram Man wasn't taller, he was wider.
But it's not like that because there's no media aside from the Skybound. There's no media showing that Mercer is particularly giant and jacked. If anything, Taurus is a little bigger.
I feel like they played. I don't know. I feel like he's portrayed as being large in the movie. Like, they are all kind of larger than life, all three of the Renegades.
And with Taurus being from the circus, I always thought of him as more agility and leaner. I don't know. I just always imagined, again, not Skybound large, but I just imagined Mercer bigger. And again, if he's not next to Sarge, maybe it won't stick out so much.
Well, and the other thing we have to remember is these renders often are not portraying scaling very well. The size difference may not be this extreme. As we always have to say, everything looks better than the renders. Well, almost everything. Almost everything. So the reason I got up to leave, and I realized as soon as I did, that it would have been a whole lot easier just to look up a picture of Sergeant Slaughter, but whatever. So this is the Sergeant Slaughter that everybody keeps referring to as like, oh, they're doing Iraqi Slaughter. They're really not. Like, they're really not at all, because this is what all khakis, long sleeve. Now, he didn't wrestle in the long sleeves, but it wasn't a cutoff sleeve shirt. The beret was black. Like that really isn't this.
I think the red beret is definitely a Mandela effect, because I swore it was a red one.
So 2 things popped up in the chat. One, silent interlude. I feel like the Renegades were all a lot bigger than Falcon in the movie. That's where I am. But also Wreck Ship, because I didn't notice this before, and I wanted to see if you guys did. Wreck Ship 85 says, I'm more impressed that Hasbro went all out on almost all new tooling for the weapons in this set. And maybe...
Oh, yeah. Look at that. I hadn't really noticed that, but you're right. Maybe that rifle next to Sarge.
The one on the bottom right, too, isn't that one that's been used before?
Well, I feel like because the colors are the same as the one that came with the Hiss tank, that my mind is wanting to say that came with the Hiss tank, but I don't think it's the same gun.
Yeah, they make a comment about how he's like recycling some of the Cobra weapons during the live stream, or did I misinterpret that because he was a Viper? But
here we go. From Brett White, maybe they want Mercer's accessories and stuff swappable with a Viper. I'm intrigued by that. That would be cool.
So looking online, every image of Iraqi sympathizer Slaughter, he has a black beret.
Yeah, that's what I said. I Googled that too, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
again, complete Mandela effect.
Yeah, in my head, it's red.
Wrong one. Silent interlude. Quote, everything looks better than the renders, unquote, except for classified Falcon.
That's exactly, as soon as I said that, I thought like, oh, wait.
And probably CoverGirl too.
I think CoverGirl looked pretty much the same. It's just that until you got her in hand, you couldn't tell. Which I still don't have I still feel like she looks like Linda Evangelista or something. I don't
hate her as much as most people do. No.
So Sergeant Slaughter and Mini Mercer, I'm into it. I like it. We'll see what Mercer ends up looking like. I like that he's got an alternate angry portrait. I hope as they get to the Renegades, all of them have like neutral and angry portraits. Oh, and I do love the Slaughter portrait with the whistle in the mouth. I will absolutely display. I might put that on one of the other Slaughters. And keep this one like with these sunglasses and this neutral portrait. But I really like the whistle in the mouth.
Oh, Travis Freerborn jumps in with, I have too purchased both the green and black Ramen Toys tanks with their upgrades. Purchased the Gridiron Toys Phalanx as well. I am a little behind as I am door dashing to pay for them. I thought you were kind of joking last week.
No, get that hustle.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is, when that comes in, please let us know.
So anyway, this set must have. Got to have it for me. Moving on to the pre-orders. As in my notes, Alice and Dice.
Yes.
I don't know if that was a typo or if that was an autocorrect, but Alice and Dice we're looking at here. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, when they first announced them, because I don't have any attachment to these figures. Now, if you remember my little eBay story from a few weeks ago, the buyer that I very slowly over time ordered several things from, I do have original Slice and Dice figures, and I like them quite a bit. But this photography, when we talk about, once we see the photography, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about because these figures look freaking awesome. I am so hyped for these now. And I think I put every single one of the figure photography pictures that they included in here because they all look so cool. Where are you guys on the Slice and Dice train?
I'm still not going to order them because the ninjas just aren't my thing. But they honestly, they look amazing.
Dude, look at that. How can you not want that?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're, I like they did some stuff that's kind of Mortal Kombat-ish in here, Little Big Trouble in Little China in here. Like there's some good references and some good like allusions, and I appreciate it. Again, I'm the same. I just don't need them in my collection, so these are ones that I can easily pass on. But I do think they did a great job on them.
This is how I can say no to them. As Tom Henry says, I'd buy a ninja weaponed Alice from the Brady Bunch. Now, if you slapped that head sculpt in there, you 100% know I would buy that.
So, one per case. We need an Ann B. Davis portrait stat.
Yes.
Yeah, every one of these pictures looks amazing. This is one where, because I didn't buy the Blue Ninjas. They were my breaking point with Classified, where I stopped my completistness because I just wasn't interested in them. But these, I mean, the default slice and dice looks are good enough for me because I don't have any attachment to the original figures. But then when you get into all of this stuff, these are just incredible action figures. It has transcended being, it's G.I. Joe into, these are just awesome. Like if I saw these coming from boss fight or something, I'd be tempted by them.
I think the alternate masks are more impressive. Like I love the dragon head mask, and also as much as I do like blank face mask, the gold skeleton.
I know, right? It doesn't look gold in this picture.
No, but in the other ones it does.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this looks like I can't remember his name, but there's a character in Soul Calibur with crazy blades like that on his hands, and this definitely looks a lot like that. So yeah, this absolutely sold me, and it's worth mentioning, and I don't have any of the close-up pictures. I meant to get them and I just didn't. Okay, who is who? Which one is Alice?
So Slice is the red one. Okay, and I can only say that with confidence because Rekship commented Slice's scorpion mask is sick. So
okay.
Slice is red, Dice is purple.
So Alice's default mask does have that mesh sculpted in like the original figure. It looks like it's just smooth here. It is not. If you look at the close-up images on the pre-order pages, you can see like that mesh is there. These are just fantastic. I'm so stoked for these.
I like I like the hat being used as a shield, but I also think it should be used like Kung Lao's hat in Mortal Kombat.
Well, it can be.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah. So this is one of my biggest turnarounds, I think, in the history of Classified. From okay, cool to oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get these.
Nowhere Manchild says these two protect the legends of the Hidden Temple, representing the red jaguars and purple parrots, right?
Dude, forget Checkpoint Alpha, forget the Watchtower. Give me an Olmec playset. I am in. Let's go. Do you know how well, if one of these smaller companies like Plastic Meatball or Wandering Planet or like one of those smaller companies could get the Legends of the Hidden Temple license and do like Olmec and like, oh my gosh, what if they did like Mighty Max play sets?
Oh, in 3 3/4 scale?
I don't know about 3 3/4. I'm talking about Mighty Max size.
Oh.
But they're all based on Legends of the Hidden Temple challenges.
I cannot remember the name of the show, but in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, there was some sort of syndicated show that they filmed at Universal Orlando, and it got a toy line. And I regret not buying it because one of the play sets was the Animal Actor Studio. And if you ever saw that show, it had a giant face car. It was basically Olmec, but they didn't call it Olmec. But they had a giant carved space, into it. So it was, to me, every time I saw it, I was like, oh, the Legends of the Hidden Temple playset. But
it's not.
But it's right. And I wasn't doing O-rings or anything like that when it came out. So I'll have to do some digging to find out the name of it again.
We need some follow-up. So Slice and Dice, I'm super hyped. Oh, and this is worth mentioning on the back of the box. If you're watching the live stream, you can see the art, and there is, now in the little tiny picture on your screen, there is a figure far in the background behind Slice and Dice, and using modern technology, enhance, so we can clearly... we can see
it's Mr. DNA.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. So it's some other figure that we'll find out down the line. Budo. We already talked about Budo, but I have to say I've kind of changed my opinion a little bit since last week, in that I kind of do want this guy now. I think I mentioned that I'd lean more towards his more tactical look. But again, seeing these pictures, now I don't care for this as much. I don't want the full samurai armor on him, but I'm definitely more interested in this guy than I was. To the point where I'm pretty sure he went up for pre-order last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I for sure did my pre-order roulette with him. Got Pulse. For anybody who doesn't, anybody who's new here, which could be a lot of people, because our numbers are pretty darn good right now. Pre-order roulette. I order from Pulse, Amazon, and Big Bad, and whoever gets it to me first, I take that one. I cancel the rest of the pre-orders, and I did my pre-order roulette with this fellow. Because now, like, he's cool. I like him. I don't know how I'm going to configure him, but I'm into it. What about you guys? Did Budo, did he resonate more with you guys since he went up for pre-order, or are you still kind of out?
I am still out. Again, seeing the physical copy of him, like when Lenny had him all samurai armored,
it's so
up,
much better than the render, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, he is absolutely a gorgeous piece. In my G.I. Joe, though, they're just...
I get it.
Not...
Look, that's how I felt. But looking at him, I can strip this down enough. Like, I don't know that. I don't know. I got to get it. It's cool.
Yeah. Said it's a good looking figure, like Slice and Dice. Doesn't have a spot in my collection, but you know what? I'm glad that they're doing all these characters and that they're putting a lot of effort into these.
Yeah.
Because this could be just a toss away figure. Because, like, really, are there a lot of giant Budo enthusiasts out there in the world of G.I. Joe?
Well, let me just tell you, one of the early and frequent commenters on the Needless Things YouTube channel, I don't know if you guys remember me sending you this or not, was a Budo fanatic. I don't know whatever happened to them, but like every review I put up, they'd be like, but what do you think about Budo? It's like, wow. And I could not ever figure out if it was somebody like messing with me or if they legitimately were just some unstable Budo fan. And if you're still out there, I hope this makes you happy.
Yeah. And tell us what you think about this.
Yeah,
Budo.
let us know for sure.
Budo fan 94.
I'm just going to call out a comment here, Kristian. I know I'm stepping into your territory.
No,
but
go
please
for
excuse me. Nowhere Man Child, will anyone make a custom John Belushi head for this figure? Once again, we're going to submit a wish list to one per case. There are a lot of portraits we need coming out of this live stream. Ann B. Davis and John Belushi, top of the list. All right.
Silent interlude. What if Budo had flocked hair? Now, listen, the only reason why I'm bringing this one up is stick around for sound off later.
And do you mean flocked or do you mean rooted?
Rooted, yeah.
All right. What is next? I don't even know. Oh, yeah. Oh, I am in. You guys, why does this appeal to me so much more than the SMS?
Because this was
real.
This is hitting you in the nostalgia hole, first of all.
Right. And the SMS was sort of like they did Crimson versions of this, which is kind of what the SMS is coming out of. But this just, this is so exciting to me.
I mean, look, I love the SMS, and when you see that vehicle done in black, or this transport done in black with those big black missiles, that looks like the type of thing that would roll behind a his tank, because Cobra would like have these gigantic, like 10-foot long rockets. But yeah, seeing it done in the original 82 MMS colors, oh yeah, I mean, I knew I was getting this from the moment they announced it.
It just look that star on the side. That is just that, as Rex Ship said here in the chat, right up that nostalgia hole. You are. Oh, that is a shirt. Rex Ship, you may be getting your first T-shirt commission coming up soon, because that is solid, because that's what we're all about. But it is. Look at this. It just. I don't know. This does it. When I saw the SMS, this is what I was like, oh, but that's going to look good. And I again, pre-order roulette. Or no, wait, this was Amazon and Pulse only.
Yeah.
I don't think this was on. No, this was on Big Bad too.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
because it's a
service,
Amazon
channel.
or fan channel, whatever it is. So yeah, I'd same thing on this one. Like this is beautiful. It's a must-have. I think Hawk looks great. And Kristian, you pointed out something about Hawk that I didn't notice.
Yeah, so his web gear is different than Grunt's, which made me very happy.
I like it because it is stylistically, similar, but it's different and unique.
Yeah, it's not 100% the web gear of that original G1 Hawk, but it's not. Yeah, I hope that sticks with the original 13.
Yeah, I would love it if they would just continue doing like variations of this style of web gear for the originals. That would be awesome.
And the only thought I had about this, and I am someone that loves lots of accessories and kibble, but this is so striking. I don't even think I will display it with the blast pieces.
No, I don't think
I'm glad they're included. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I feel like they'll take away from it.
I have seen a pretty good point online that I'll be honest, I didn't notice it, but those rocket blast effects are, the peg is on the wrong side. The smoke should be at the far end. The shape is correct. The peg should be on the other side though. And these came with scrap iron, right? They were the same way with scrap iron. And I just didn't notice it at all, but it's correct. They should go the other way. And they did not correct it on this reel, which, I mean, they would have had to completely retool these pieces to correct it, because you couldn't just put the smoke on the other end, because that still wouldn't look right. So, but whatever. I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
I appreciate they're doing those for those toy photographers. I have no use for all the blast effects and everything. I would love to see them just release them without it and shave $5-10 off the final retail price. That's just me.
You guys,
Will R points out they were correct for scrap iron, but they are wrong for everything else.
Oh, are they? Whatever. It's they're in, as people who watched my recent review of something, I have a tub on my workbench that's just full of blast effects. I display very few of them. All right, real quick, I'm going to share this because this is something Kristian pointed out, and I made a funny little graphic here, that because I want everybody to realize that every Hasbro Pulse live stream going forward, this is going to be our messaging. And if you watch the Marvel live stream, you know that they talked toy photography to an obnoxious degree.
Look,
and
I only watched the G.I. Joe one, and it was enough. Enough of those, we got to mention those toy photographers again. This is the market we're really tapping into.
Yeah, so... but guess what? I've been saying it for years that they are directly marketing a lot of this stuff to the toy photographers. It's just a fact. And guess what? It's because they're a critical element of the market.
If that gets people more figures like to the level of Slice and Dice and Budo, then I'm all for it. Just don't repeat it every.
Oh, but they're going to because now they've put it out there, SpongeBob style. All right. Let's see. We finally. Oh, and I'm mad at myself because I thought I had put an image of Gargantos from the Marvel Legends live stream in here because that was last week.
Last week.
That's right. That's right. Man, doing these a couple of weeks in a row is a lot. All right. So last thing we've got from the live stream, we got a little sneaky peek of Gus Rios, which his name is just Gus Rios. I just like saying Goose, as Zartan. And I appreciate that it looks like they're all going to be in full costume for this concert. I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm excited for the concert because I would be willing to bet money these songs live are going to be much better than what has been released. I bet that show is going to be really cool, and I'm jealous of everybody that's going to be able to be there. Oh, wait, we do have one more thing from the live stream. Emily popped back in the same way that Lenny and Tony did in the February live stream. Emily popped back in at the end to say, hey, here she gave this sneak peek of Gus Rios as Zartan. And she said that the next Haslab will be revealed at the end of Yojo June, and it's going to be pretty chill. And she signed off with Keep It Frosty. So naturally, I think at this point, the cat is pretty much well out of the bag. I may or may not have been part of one of the very early Haslab
focus groups.
And I may or may not have seen what a Haslab Snowcat might have looked like. I can neither confirm nor deny this, but I think it's pretty clear that a lot of people have seen what a Haslab Snowcat might look like. So a lot of people are assuming the Snowcat will be the next Haslab, which we have talked about on the show would be an excellent choice. So let's talk about now. This is the original. This is not. They do not obviously want anybody sharing. I've just now noticed that this is missing the ski torpedo,
ski missile.
Obviously, I don't want anybody sharing those images, and those are online. You can go look. But Recship, hit me up. I'll send you the email to look out for. I think I will say this. I think they know who I am now, just from the last couple of responses I got when I asked about the group, or when I applied to be a part of the focus group, because I have not been in another one. And I got very specific responses.
I'm not thoroughly convinced about this Snowcat because it actually has the pegs on the missile turret up top, and pretty much every Snowcat you see for sale, those are broken off. So
You're right.
It's easier to find a
clamps.
Snowcat intact than a Tiger Cat intact, because those, I don't know if it's just the plastic molding, just like that plastic color was more brittle.
I think the yellow is generally more brittle, because since I bought my Tiger Cat, I have realized how lucky I was to get one in the shape that it's in. But I do still need a Snowcat of all things. But anyway, it seems that the Snowcat is very likely to be the Haslab, which excites me a lot because that's one I want.
Yeah. And I think this is a perfect choice because if we look back at the old 3 3/4-inch vehicles, the Hiss, the Vamp, the Snowcat, they were all like that deluxe size that was the same. Like, they were essentially the same size, but the Hiss, you could scale it up for Haslab, and they did, because if you put the Hiss side by side by the original versus the Vamp, it's definitely been plussed up. This is a vehicle you can plus up, and that's why this is a great choice for this, because you can, first of all, you can do moving treads, which, I mean, I think that's an obvious choice right there. But yeah, you can make this larger versus the original Snowcat. Just scale up from the so it's not just an exact 1-to-1 upscaling.
We had even talked in the past about how the rear portion could be sized up to be a troop carrier compartment. Like,
just raise that up a little bit.
Yeah, there are a lot of options for this, and it is. I'm not going to necessarily call it an iconic G.I. Joe vehicle, but it is a unique vehicle that is immediately recognizable as G.I. Joe, which I guess pretty much is iconic, but shut up. So,
I mean, it was iconic enough that they made a Transformer that transformed into one and named him Snowcat.
Yeah. And look, it isn't going to be the Ice Saber. As cool as that might be. Oh, no, wait, not the Ice Saber.
The Ice Saber was the one that came out later.
Okay.
That looked like the Snowcat, but almost more like a tank, because the missile part was flush down, but then it could pop up.
Yeah. But anyway, this is very likely.
But I want to throw some out there that the chat is suggesting that, we could always be wrong.
All the time, that's a possibility.
Yes.
And believe it or not, has happened.
So Tom Henry is saying a Snow Fang.
Let's go. But that's not a Haslab.
But we don't know what a Snow Fang would look like.
No, here's what it is. For Tom Henry, it is 4 Snow Fangs.
See, my first thought was, clearly they're going to do a broadcast energy transmitter, because we first encounter it in the snow.
The last thing I want in classified. No, here's what it is. Tom Henry, wait. Yep. Tom Henry, this is what the Haslab is going to be. It's going to be a regular Fang, an Arctic Fang, a Crimson Fang, a Python Patrol Fang, a Tiger Force Fang, a Sky Patrol Fang. It's going to be every flavor of Fang your heart could possibly desire. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, not at all. Blitz 0065 says a Snow Moray, which
unlikely, but I like it.
Interesting. And Wreckship 85, of course, knows our taste all too well, because he says, "Are we sure it's not an Arctic Pogo Haslab?"
Oh, let's go.
Because I absolutely would buy that.
But also not a Haslab.
Depends on how big they make it.
Oh, no, it depends on if it's a regular Pogo, an Arctic Pogo, a Python Patrol Pogo, a Crimson Pogo.
Now, with previous Haslabs, unlockable tiers, have been figures,
of course.
And it's been mostly, okay, here we can do this repaint, or, you know, in the case of Glinda, it's still a repaint, but
it's a pre-paint.
Yeah.
Right.
So who are you all? What are you thinking the unlocks could possibly be with the Snowcat? Because I have seen people online commenting about how, you know, they don't want Blizzard or Iceberg to be the unlocks, and I don't know that they would go that route based on how they've done previous Haslab.
Well, we got obviously we got, you know, new unreleased figures, but they were the Night Force versions of Ripcord and Crazy Legs. There's not really a variation you could do other than really the original for an Iceberg or a Blizzard. But
you could do a Snow Duke, or, you know, Arctic Duke, Arctic Snake Eyes, using
what I thought about it too was, like, I went back and watched the first reveal of the BET earlier today, thinking about, okay, let me look at all these Joes in like winter costumes, and I think you could do some of those. Maybe just do the Snake Eyes or the Quick Kick or the Scarlet, you know, one of those in like a winter coat.
But is that going to excite people? And the Hasbro team, or the Joe team, has stated that Haslabs are 100% new tooling. Because they use this crowdfunding as an opportunity to develop new tooling that they'll use down the road. Same way they did with Glenda. Same way they, you know, with Baroness. You know, we're going to see that tooling again.
Well, maybe that's how you get your mainframe, because we haven't done a mainframe yet, and he's featured heavily in that opening scene.
But you could slap a Quick Kick head on a
but that's not exciting. That's not exciting to people. That's not exciting to people. Nobody's going to be like, awesome, Arctic Quick Kick. Like, it has to be something with some sizzle. And I say, this is the one I brought up on his tank in the conversation, an Arctic sci-fi, I think, could be interesting, because, you know, do him in all white. That could be an interesting look. And then we get the tooling later on down the road.
Okay.
And
Arctic airtight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the sort of thing we're more likely to see. I like the idea of mainframe.
Brett White says the BET with Arctic Dial Tone, Duke, Scarlet, and mainframe. And you mentioning the BET actually does make me stop and think, oh, we already have the Once a Man Cobra Commander, but could they throw in, could they make, you know, Roadblock one of the unlocks? Because that very much is from the G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah, but again, I feel like it's just got to be characters that we really haven't seen, or super high profile, like Baroness is really one of the best sellers across the brand.
Or is this how they can finally sneak in My Adventure Team Yeti?
There you go. Done. Let's go Yeti.
Because that I would be excited. I don't know about anybody else, but
I would love that. All right. So yeah, that's Snowcat seems very likely, but obviously we will stay
and
on that.
Tom Henry brings up another good point, because she did say they're going to reveal it at the end of the month. So we have a few more weeks. And he says, oh no, what if next live stream she says something else underwater and it's a mass device? I'd be mad.
I mean, I've said this before. I do not need a 1/12 scale mass device. I would love these things. I would love a BET in 1/18 or O-ring. I would love a mass device 1/18. Well, I've got a mass device, but it's not scaled properly, but it's fine. I don't need that stuff in classified, because if you go back and watch G.I. Joe the movie, look at how big the BET is. It would be bigger than the freaking HISS tank. Do you really want to devote that much shelf space to that? To the broadcast energy transmitter? I don't. All right. And that, I believe, let me get rid of this. This is annoying me. All right, here we go.
Maybe one of them becomes the orca. That's our.
The orca? You mean iceberg is a killer whale? Yes, let's
orca that
go.
was iceberg.
I would be on that for Will.
All right. So that is pretty much it for the news, and we are skipping Tariff Watch because that is all so insane and unpredictable right now that at the moment it's not worth talking about. So that brings us to the most popular segment of the show, the segment that is curated by you, the Audible Army. Sound Off. That's right, our traditional Destro looking at a banana image accompanies Sound Off. This is where the Joe Wiki will once again come in handy. I don't remember why this is a thing. So hopefully the Joe Wiki will bring that to light. And if you join the Audible Interlude Facebook group, the link is somewhere way up there in the chat. But if you're interested, shoot your email to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, and we will add you to the Audible Interlude Facebook group, which has been going on for about a week and has been a lot of fun so far. I really like.
I was like mass approving people earlier in the stream. I saw some
nice
pop-ups, and I was like, boom, approve. So
awesome.
I hope you were all legitimate.
Cool. I love it. So anyway, Sound Off. This is where if you are following us at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram or on the Blue Sky, you can give us direct input as to what you want us to talk about on these live streams. So here we go. These better be good. Tom.Henry. This is actually from 2 weeks ago where he slipped into some kind of weird Instagram jail where it didn't show me his comment. So this is from 2 weeks ago. Tom.Henry. In the words of Andy Barnard, aka Baby Wawa, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've left them. And I'll be honest right now. I love The Office, most of it. There were times where it wasn't as good as other times, but Office is great. I hated Andy Barnard so much, but that quote like almost makes me cry every time I see it because it's so true. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've left them. Like that is, and I don't curse on this show, that's freaking heartbreaking. So looking back, was 2024 a minor golden age of G.I. Joe? We had the Energon universe winding up, classified at a relatively affordable price, and the hope for live-action Joe in the Transformers movies. It was also the year I discovered the podcast. Clearly, the best year of your life. I'm fairly certain my classified collecting will go down a lot, and it seems like the live-action thing is a bust. Thankfully, the comics may go up in price, but are relatively cheap, and the quality of story remains high. Hashtag Fang 2025. I 100% agree with this, Tom.Henry. I think 2024 was a golden age of G.I. Joe, but I think we knew it as we were in it. I think we recognized every week here on the show that the toy line was incredible and more than we ever could have hoped for from Classified. I think we recognized that the comics were more than we ever could have hoped for from media. I don't think anybody really had any expectations for live action from the Transformers. We talked about that on the show. Check that wiki link. I'm sure it'll get in there at some point.
It's funny him mentioning that because I was like, wait a minute. And then I remembered, oh yeah, Joe Fest last year. You had a little moment because you were the only one at that point that had seen the new Transformers movie. And I feel like, wow, that was like 3 lifetimes.
It really feels like it, doesn't it? But if you go back and listen to our episode live from Joe Fest last year, I had some words. But yeah, I feel like we as a show and probably the Audible Army recognize how special 2024 was for G.I. Joe. I don't think we took it for granted. I think we knew how special it was, what we were getting. And look, it's continuing into 2025. We're still in salad days here. Things are still great.
We're getting all the stuff we were promised back in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, things still look really good. So, as corny as it may be to say about pop culture or about toy lines or about whatever, take a moment to appreciate what we've got right now, because this time next year we may have nothing.
Nowhere Man Child jumps in with, I just hope we get more Super 7 Reaction Plus O-Ring Joes. Yes. I love how they fill a void. So far, no news of any more yet. But they're going to be at Joe Fest. So I think that's when you're going to get the announcement.
Well, and let's think about, like, Wave 2 kind of came out of the blue. We knew Wave 1 was happening, and we knew we were still getting, like, a Raymar and the Duke. But, like, that Fatal Fluffy was just, like, a complete, like, we had no idea that was coming. And then the Cobra Commander and the Wild Bill, like, that kind of got dropped on us without any warning. So, yeah, I mean, I think they've done and Super 7's been really good about that. Like, just when you think you have an idea of what's coming out, all of a sudden, like, hey, by the way, this is available, and it's available now.
They do, look, they're, whatever you think about Super 7, they're us. And they do everything they can to keep toy collecting special. All right. Tom Henry again, because we neglected him for 2 weeks in a row. This is Tom Henry from Blue Sky. And let me just tell you, you're getting ready to head into 2 more weeks of neglect, because this is nonsense, Tom Henry. What Joe encapsulates the spirit of a goose the most? Hashtag Fang 2025. Come on.
So this is very timely. Last night, I started playing Untitled Goose Game again, because there's a version now that you can play cooperative. So my wife and I decided we were gonna play it again. So, like, now
real quick, wait, before you forge ahead, give us an elevator pitch, because this game is phenomenal.
It really is. If you're not familiar, Untitled Goose Game is a game, I believe it's Australian, where you play as a goose. You are given a series of objectives, and you have to figure out how to achieve those objectives. And there are things like, steal the farmer's hat, or like steal the farmer's keys, or make this lady dress up a bust. And you've just got to, like, figure these out just kind of through the hints and stuff throughout the game. It's tons of fun. But yes, I had a tremendous time for a few hours last night running around, just annoying the people of this little village that this game takes place in. So I'm thinking, who encapsulates the spirit of a goose the most? Who annoys the other Joes the most? And I'm thinking, is that going to be like maybe an Airtight or a barbecue?
I like the way you're thinking. No, Airtight. Yeah. You're right, because we see in Sunbow, he's like weirdo practical Joker guy.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. So mine, I don't know. I did the best I could with this dumb question. 1991 Hawk. Because he's really weird and dumb looking, but in reality would be a formidable foe in combat. And that's how I think of geese. They're very, very awkward and weird looking, but you do not want to stare one down, because they will mess you up. And that's
they are incredibly mean.
Hawk. Yeah.
Yeah. The chat and I seem to be more on the same page.
Okay.
So Wreckship85 says Beachhead. Brett White says the Rawhides collectively. And it was just those two. Sorry. And so, yes, when I think of geese, I think they're mean, they're annoying, they're loud, and when I see one, I just want to go in the opposite direction. And who better encapsulates that than Sergeant Slaughter?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Shipwreck.
I thought you were going to say Shipwreck too.
No, Sergeant Slaughter.
Because that's why you love Shipwreck, right?
One of these days, this eject button is going to get installed. Now, I know I kicked Noel out last time.
Right.
All right. You guys need to get. I'm going to tell Sergeant Slaughter at Joe Fest that you said all these terrible things about him. And you know what? He's not going to be angry.
Then I'm going to look at him and go, no, Iraq.
He's not going to be angry. He's just going to be sad.
Oh, well then.
White
fill
Vegeta.
My cup with your slaughtered tears.
Oh, you're the worst. With the rumor of a Snowcat Haslab and the assumption we will get 3 additional figures, which, by the way, I don't think anybody's assuming that. We'll get 2 figures and patches. What figures would you like to see? My first vote is for Arctic Doc in his bright orange and blue. Female Snowtrooper, Lady J with big coat. Operation Blackout, Arctic Sci-Fi. So I do think we have to scale this back because now that they've done the Rattler with 2 figures, well, it includes Wild Weasel and then 2 additional figures and the patches. So I think 2 additional figures is all we can expect. So the Snowcat realistically is going to come with Frostbite, but what other 2 figures? And I think we kind of already covered this.
Yeah.
Although I'll throw out there for this specifically, I mentioned Arctic Sci-Fi because I do like that idea. It's interesting to me. I also put in just because I was trying to figure out who would be exciting for people to see to realize, oh, that means we're going to get a regular one down the road. So I said Arctic Hit and Run. I don't know. That's just a name that people would be like, okay, cool.
There's one. Let me see. Here we go. Avalanche was one that Rekship 85 and I were talking about in conversation because I always forget there's 2 different versions of him. Battle Force 2000 Snowtrooper guy.
Oh, okay.
With a Battle
Isn't
Force.
There also a vehicle called the Avalanche?
There is,
yes,
I believe. Yeah,
maybe that's what the Haslab is. Wouldn't that upset everybody?
Because I kept calling when you bought the box of Earthquakes last year, I kept referring to them as the box of Avalanches because I had the wrong John Tinta gimmick in my head.
Wow, wouldn't that have been awesome? So I love the idea of Arctic Doc because I've got that figure from 25th anniversary or whatever it was, 25th, 30th, I don't know. I really, really dig that one. It doesn't make any sense that he's Arctic, but it's a good figure. But I don't know that they're going to do, if they're redoing a character for this, I feel like it's got to be one of the top tier high profile characters like Baroness.
Yeah. Well, and I think a female character, because they've done one in every one of them thus far, would make sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, what Joe's haven't we gotten unless we do like a female, like a Bomb Strike? Because that's I think the only female Joe character we've.
And if they tried to do Arctic Lady J, the smack that got talked would just be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, but if we're keeping the standard where we're doing figures they haven't introduced in the line yet, there's just not a lot you can do that are exciting.
Well, what do we got in the chat, Kristian?
So we have Tiger Force Blizzard, Arctic Scarlet, Lowlight, Rekship 85 correcting us with Arctic Doc was Rise of Cobra.
Whatever, it's all 25th. Shut up.
Snow Ninja Bushido, Arctic Green Shirts.
We could get an Arctic Doc and have that be a female figure because we could get a Carla Greer version.
Oh, that's interesting.
Bongo, the Arctic Balloon Bear. Mini Pete with October
Bongo
Guard.
the Arctic Balloon Bear. I'm in. Let's go. All we have to do is put that polar bear in with just a woman head on it. Let's go.
That's actually a good suggestion from Mini Pete, because we haven't gotten the October Guard yet in Classified.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And then Nowhere Man Child says Arctic Stalker Tundra Ranger, which makes sense. And then Jinx in white outfit.
I don't think
which
that's
the
good.
Arctic Stalker I would love, but I feel like he's popular. That version of him is popular enough to be a deluxe figure on his own.
And that's what I've said is that when he comes out, he's going to be a deluxe. He's going to have the kayak. He's going to be like loaded out. It's going to be a special thing when they get to that version 2 Stalker. But let me ask you guys and the chat this so we know. I don't know if I can reach mine or not. Yeah, here he is. So on this Arctic Stalker, this is like pretty clearly meant to be just mud going up his pants, like on his boots, going up his pants. Like it's not camo. It just looks like mud or poo. And it's the only thing I don't like about the figure is that they went with like this weird environmental deco on him. Now, you may disagree as to whether or not the fact that it goes from his boots all the way up his pant legs, I think it's meant to be mud. If they do a classified version, do you want this deco, or would you like them to sort of clean that up and make it look a little less pooey? I want to hear from you guys, and I want to hear from the chat.
Less pooey. Like my personal preference, if they were to, or when they release him, would actually be to make the pants white.
Oh, interesting. See, I like the green pants, but just give him, brown or black boots or whatever. Just don't do that deco on it. Or maybe camo pants are fine.
Mark Harkness says, nope, clean it up. Steve Martin, whoops, the chat was moving quick there. Steve Martin says, definitely less pooey. I will give you credit, but I am now adding that word to my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Wreckship 85 wants more poo.
More poo. So all the way up the figure, we want the poo deco.
The poo gradient going up.
Just, I'll get you a glass table for your birthday. Brett White would make the boots brown intentionally, not dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nowhere Man Child, good points about Stalker. The 93 Arctic Stalker figure is white pants and gray boots and splashes. We did America's Elite on Stalker, and it's been so long I have forgotten the Arctic. Well,
that's exactly the kind of thing that this wiki that Scale Model Joe's is putting together for us is going to be great for. And if you join the Audible Interlude Facebook group, then you can get an advanced look at that wiki. Just shoot your email to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, or the link is way up in the chat, but you're never going to find it now.
And this is why people tune in to Audible Interlude. Mini Pete coming in with poo only on the seat of his pants. Give us a poor man's skid mark.
It's a double figure combo. It's skid mark and Stalker all in one.
Skid mark and backblast.
Oh no! Wait,
that was Mark Harkness's combination there. The 2-pack that nobody is really clamoring for.
I would buy that in a second. Skid mark and backblast. That's horrible.
They'll wipe the competition.
Oh, I'm here for it. All right, let's move on. Travis Fireborn. I hear most say that more Snowcat business. I hear most say that they do not want Blizzard and Iceberg as tiers. I do. The reason being is that we do not know how long classified line will last, and hoping that they push them out for retro carded releases means that we may never get them. Just on the Joe side alone, there are over 150 characters, and we are not even halfway there. If the classified line were to only last another 4 to 5 years, I fear that we would never get them. I get that logic, but I just don't see them. They have never done this in a Haslab, locking name characters behind a Haslab in that way. I wouldn't be mad at it because I'm getting a Snowcat if that's what it is. I just don't see them doing it. And I try to look at, we can talk all day long about what we want, but I think what we try to do on the show, or try to end at on the show, is what we think is most likely from a business standpoint. And I just don't see them making those characters available for the first time in that way. And then, we got Night Force Crazy Legs, we got Night Force Ripcord.
I mean, I could see maybe where you do Blizzard and Iceberg where they don't look like the original versions. You do something that's a very unique deco for them for this, and then you just do a retro card version that is the one that, I mean, it's enough of a departure without you're not going to go full Night Force versions.
But maybe what if they did? What if they did just straight up do Night Force, Blizzard, and Iceberg? No, you laugh, but think about it. Why would that be not right? There's no reason they wouldn't be in the Arctic in Night Force gear. Night is night. It's dark. That's actually an interesting thought.
If it was something like that, I mean, I definitely will be getting a Snowcat, but I would be very upset if they locked characters that people wanted behind, a Kickstarter.
Yeah, but I mean, but they've shown they're not going to do it forever.
True.
It's been a year, and we have not gotten an announcement of a Ripcord or a Crazy Legs in the regular line, by the way.
That's true. That's very true. And at the end of the day, any conversation we have is 100% speculation because we do not know how any of this works, really.
But now that Noel has said that, the Yojo live stream this upcoming Wednesday will be Ripcord, Crazy
right.
and Flash.
Well, I was actually thinking that earlier. We that could be right around the corner. Oh, I actually like JJ Shoulder Height in the chat. Pop that up there.
A classified's version of the Sergeant Savage Arctic Stormtrooper would be cool. I need to look that up.
And I think, wasn't there an Arctic Sergeant Savage also? How awesome would that be? Well, even if there wasn't that,
he is part of Joe and
Hoffman. I'll send it to your email. Don't worry about it. The link doesn't work on mobile. It only works on desktops because Meta is stupid. Yeah. What if they did that? Just Arctic Sergeant Savage, like something crazy. That would be really cool. I'd be down with that. All right. Well,
I would like to see them. For this Arctic Stormtrooper, I dig it. I would definitely want to see them classify it up.
Whoa. Okay, I'm putting it up here. JJ Shoulder Height, Cryo Freeze Sergeant Savage. Make that. They're so big on the storytelling and the world of G.I. Joe. So do the Snowcat and Cryo Freeze Sergeant Savage. So he comes with the big Cryo Freeze chamber. And the mission was the Snowcat went out to retrieve Sergeant Savage. Oh, I love this. JJ Shoulder Height, you are the star of the week for that idea. I dig it. Let's go. All right, we got to move on. Scale Model Joes with wikis on my mind. I got wikis on my mind. How should Star Brigade and the Lunatics Empire be covered in that essential resource for the savvy interstellar traveler, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? And this makes me slightly concerned that Scale Model Joe's is somehow wiretapped me, because I was talking to my son about The Hitchhiker's Guide earlier today. So it would take... You guys are probably aware my ego, my hubris really knows no bounds. But I would not dare to try to replicate the great Douglas Adams.
No.
So I can't. I'm not even going to attempt this.
So I saw this and I was like, Douglas Adams is my favorite author.
Yes.
He has been one of like my biggest influences.
Yes.
I knew immediately not to ever try to write like him, because he is like,
you can't.
He works in different ways than all of us. But after seeing this question, I was like, I do know a fella by the name of Chad GBT, that I had to feed this question into.
And gross.
No, it was fantastic.
What?
What came out of it was clearly, like, it had some good inputs throughout this last couple of years, because it did give me like something that I could see a lot of this coming directly from Douglas Adams. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it, but there was some stuff in there that did make me giggle.
Ugh. All right. So anyway, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a sacred text, as is really everything Douglas Adams did. He was a unique mind amongst humankind. So I'm not going to touch this one. But I love that you posed this question, but I have far too much respect to even attempt to answer it. Finally, Steve Big Dirty Martin coming in just under the wire. For anybody that doesn't know, 7:30 is my cutoff for sound offs. If you come in after 7:30, I cannot include you, because that's when I start doing show prep, and I can't add anything at that point. But Steve Big Dirty Martin came in just in time. How about how Lenny looked when Emily mentioned rooted hair during the Pulse show, and that expression means I won't be getting to braid my Dolly's hair when Zanzibar comes out. And I agree. We've talked about Zanzibar on the show before, and I think our general consensus was he should have two options. He should have a sculpted plastic top knot and a rooted top knot that are interchangeable. You can do whatever you want. And I would display him with the rooted hair.
But can we just talk about how Lenny looked for a second? Because he made a comment about
I
his
thought
beard.
He was going to throw up and poop at the same time.
He made a comment about his beard growing back. And I was like, maybe this is why we haven't had a Joe live stream in quite a while.
Because he was waiting for the beard?
Because, yeah. Bearded guys, we don't like to be seen without our beards.
Well, yeah, I can agree to that. And if I don't have my artificial jawline, I can't go out in public. Yeah, I mean, I for real, like Zanzibar, that is legit. I'll whenever Zanzibar gets done, I hope at the very least his top knot is like the plug-in kind, as they tend to do, because I will find a rooted alternative.
Yeah, I foresee them doing it that, just like how they did with Scarlet and the other, so that you can pose it, which will make it easy to add your own.
Oh, yeah, Zanzibar's got to have his. I say that, but once I get it in hand and see it in person, I probably won't do anything with it. Because whatever they do will end up looking good. All right. That is it for Sound Off. It is time now for the final segment of the show, Joe and Tell, where each of us has an item to share on the screen. Sometimes it's a big deal, sometimes it's not. It's just a way to get a video clip for the socials if the AI actually picks out that thing to show. Who wants to go first this week?
I'll go first.
All right.
Mine is not that big. So giving another plug to Mark II Designs, who will be at Joe Fest. I just recently ordered their Viper, G1 Viper rifle for Dave. It's already packed away so that it's not forgotten. But when I ordered it, his G1 Eel set was back in stock.
Oh, nice.
So I got to tell you, I mean, I love his stuff. Absolutely, I recommend it. For as much as I didn't like the water jetpack, whatever you want to call it, that Classifieds did,
right?
Having the harpoon gun is everything. I'm like, I could display him without this. This harpoon gun makes all the difference in the world.
I will tell you this. Be very careful with that backpack because mine fell over and the peg snapped off in his back.
Oh, I will bring some resin and I can fix that for you.
That would be super.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at Redshift
that backpack
reminder.
Has weight.
Oh, it's great. It's great. That set is essential.
See how it fell over.
As everyone knows, I am not a spend extra money on my $25 figures guy, but that set is the one thing that I've gotten that has really done it for me. I was talking with somebody earlier, I think on Instagram, or no, on YouTube. I was in the YouTube comments. I was talking to somebody earlier about this. That the classified eel feels to me like somebody took accessories from another action figure line and stuck them on an eel.
100%.
It's just so wrong. All right, I'm going to go next. And this is something that I've talked about on the show before, but I don't think I went. Well, one, I think it was an audio episode. And two, I don't think I shared the final product. So I mentioned before the mail-away lifeline, the Kellogg's mail-away lifeline that was done that has different legs and does not include the hand blaster because Kellogg's was like, well, no, we're not going to include weapons, but we'll do a giveaway figure. And I was very intrigued because until a few years ago, I never even knew about this figure. So I decided I had to have it. I ordered one that I didn't realize it was going to be meant in the mailing bag. So it arrived and I was like, well, I can't open this. So I had to order another one to have one loose. And I ordered that other one and I liked it so much that I ordered from Display Joe Figures on Facebook. Makes these incredible backdrop stand things. And this is older. I've had this for quite some time, but like I said, I don't think I've shared it on video on the show. These for special figures, obviously I'm not putting my entire collection on this, but for special figures, these stands are just phenomenal. And as you can see for the listeners, it's a 3D printed stand. It's actually got teeth in the back so you can hang it on the wall if you want to. But it's got a back peg that you mount the figure on. And then it's got holes for the backpack and little hooks to hang his case on. And then he actually printed Kellogg's and a little envelope for mail away. I mean, this thing is
I love beautiful. That.
And
it's got the date.
Yeah. It's got
bottom corner.
Mail away 1991. And it's nice, beautiful white resin or whatever 3D printed stuff is. But if you've got special figures that you want to highlight in your collection, this guy's stuff is absolutely amazing. He's always got a backlog, but if you contact him, he'll work on whatever you want to work on. And I had these made for Special Mission Brazil as well, and I was the one that he made the first cassette display stand for. I asked him, I was like, can you make one for the cassette as well? And he was like, I haven't, but I can. So now he offers those for Special Mission Brazil. And then the one other, well, I should save the other one I've got for when I don't have a Joe and Tell. So I'll save that one. But anyway, this is just a beautiful piece. And like I said, just to highlight something that's special to you, even if it's just a regular figure. And they're very affordable. I cannot remember off the top of my head what the price was on them, but they're very, very reasonable. And this is coming from somebody who is very cheap about stuff that isn't actual toys. Like I don't spend money on displays. All right, Noel.
Yeah. So I, of course, was not into G.I. Joe for many years. I missed out on a lot of the stuff in the 90s. I tried to get back into it when they did the Stars and Stripes Forever. I took one look at it and I noped out of it for a while. Or in the early 2000s, of course, we had tons of good stuff that was coming out, but like I picked up some of those Valor versus Venom figures when they were on clearance at Toys R Us, and I just didn't like the body proportion. So a lot of the stuff flew by my radar. But I was browsing something a few weeks ago, and I started taking a look at the Hiss Mark IV and or the Hiss version 4 that came out in 2002 in Valor versus Venom, and I got my Strata Viper on top of them right now. I don't have the Neo Viper, and I was looking at this thing. I was like, this thing is cool. I know we've done retrospectives on all the Hiss tanks here on the show, but just looking at the pictures I saw, I was like, you know what? I need to get my hands on one of these. And this one, I don't know if you can.
Is it flushing?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's picking up, but it does still have the, the sounds, cycles through those. And then like this action feature right here where this pulls out and then you just, well, it worked for me a minute ago. You press this button and this is supposed to pop right up. Oh, here we go. I didn't pull it out of the way. And then of course you've got your striking Cobra Hiss. Like there are so many of these vehicles that I just never, really gave a chance to back in the day. But like, I love this thing. And this one was mostly complete for like $20. You can get a lot of these vehicles from this era loose, very, very economically. So, if you're looking to fill some holes in your collection, and this, because I mean, like the treads and everything are like the exact ones pretty much as the original Hiss as far as size goes. This like it displays very nice with your classic Hiss tank. So yeah, anyway, just one that I picked up recently and I thought I'd share. Love this deco too. This cool snake skin deco.
Yeah. Just, in the last few months, I have fallen in love with the vehicles from that era, and mostly because most of the Cobra vehicles have an actual snake motif to them. Like that snake head for the front of the tank with the fangs. That's just perfection.
Well, that is all the show we have for this week. I've had a blast talking about G.I. Joe news, hanging out with the chat. We will be back next Monday, the 16th. Check out everything we've got going on at Joe Fest. We will be making events over the next week that you can sign up for. And I have just posted the link to Display Joe Figures on Facebook in the Facebook group. So if you would like to join the Audible Interlude Podcast Facebook group, you can send a message to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. We'll get you set up. The link only works on desktops. It doesn't work in mobile because Meta is stupid. But catch us live at Joe Fest next Wednesday. Live stream on Needless Things with Word Burglar. Noel, tell us about The Finest.
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club, raising money for a wonderful organization called Canines for Warriors. Hey, do you like veterans? Do you like dogs? That's the best place you can go to raise money for those two entities. And yes, the finest will be at Joe Fest. So there's going to be an exclusive print there. You can also you can pick that up and donate some money and talk some Joe.
And Kristian, where can we find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
Well, everyone, catch us next Monday live as we discuss whatever happens on the upcoming Pulse live stream. Until then, yo, Joe.
Cobra. Nostalgia hole.